First of all, to clear up a purposeful error in the title, I'm also referring to solo artists as bands in the title here, so please be mindful of this. Anyway, I'm a musician at heart, somehow. I just accidentally came to me through a passion it did, and a love for music. I love a wide range of music from metal to rock to even electronic, jazz and pop. In this time I've listened to a wide variety of artists, and I find some very interesting music within that. Some artists on this list have a fairly big following, but this is only because I think they deserve more recognition. And to be clear, I'm also someone who's heavy into instrumental arrangements as opposed to vocals, so this may have a lot of bias in the list. In no order of ranking either, so just whatever I find in my music collection is what might appear here, or who even. First one is Dissection. Starting with a metal band for this one, Dissection have written some really interesting metal music, the likes of which almost remind me of In Flames, when I heard that band. I have melodic leads and rhythms and really work well with the style. I've listened to all their albums and have found so many good tracks. As far as I know, they're not well recognised in the metal scene, and of course this opinion could change based on what types of people these are, or band members these are, which is why Iced Earth, for example, won't appear on this list. Either way, Dissection is worth a listen to if you're a metalhead. Next is EarlyRise. At the time of writing this, I tried to do research on them. This alternative rock band does have a bit of a following, but the songs have so much meaning that it surprises me they haven't blown up. When I first heard Wasteland, I thought this band definitely deserves more recognition, and this is only from their first album. I'm writing this, by the way. I haven't listened to Colours yet, or their latest album. The best way I can describe them after having listened to Colours now is they're like a alt rock / metal meets Paramore. But I think the album after this one again is a new discovery. It's not great. I think this band, like most, really excelled in the early years. The newer albums have the issues that plague a lot of the other bands nowadays, the way they're too simple and repetitive. Not to mention the mixing is probably some of the worst I've heard in my years of being alive, to be honest. It sounds so muffled and you can barely hear the guitars, but yeah. You definitely need to give them a listen with at least Wasteland and Colours. I could recommend them for that. The next artist is Meixsell, and they pronounce it. This may surprise people, but the reason why there's a royalty-free artist here is because he makes amazing compositions of metal and hard rock type music. I found some catchy riffs from Ethan's catalogue and wanted to learn them, and even learn them by ear in limited times. I strongly recommend Ethan Meixsell if you like metal, and obviously because he makes royalty-free music, you can obviously use it as you want, and credit him of course. The next artist / band is Evanescence, surprisingly. As much as this band isn't memed upon, this band seriously goes hard. With Amy Lee's iconic vocals and heavy metal that supports her vocals, it pairs up with some really tense music. Or some really intense music, damn it. I'm reading a script on this, but yeah, I can't read. Anyway, I'm not joking. I've had this come on in the car, like their songs come on in the car, and people instantly recognise the band, despite only having heard 1 or 2 songs from them. For metalheads, it's a bit more simple for us, like, it's a bit more chill music than other metal bands, especially of the era that they sort of appeared in, but it's certainly worth listening to. Next is Jason Becker. Jason Becker happens to be one of the guitarists that got me into guitar. The way he can write and stop melodies was insane, and for anyone who knows about his story, he tragically developed amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS for short. Of the songs he did release, his style reminds me of classical guitar mixed with a bit of metal, and it works so damn well. And you know, there are so many great guitarists out there, it's hard to say that there are some better than others, but I tend to judge based on the ear. And Jason Becker has a really good catalogue of music. Like, just listen to Perpetual Burn and tell me this isn't a banger. Next is Scale the Summit. Scale the Summit achieves some very beautiful melodic leads and rhythms and bass as guitars. And in the early days of the band at least, everyone demonstrates how good they are on each instrument and write some of the most amazing arrangements into each song. Fun fact, Scale the Summit is the reason why I own a 6-string bass and a 7-string guitar, as they are probably the first band to introduce me to the concept of extra strings. And this is all done instrumentally as well. They're certainly worth checking out if you love instrumental progressive rock / metal. Next one's a bit of a bizarre one, but it's MD Geist OST. They aren't artists necessarily, but these soundtracks are great. Even though the movies weren't great, the tracks for them were amazing. They're melodic, funky, and can either go hard, and even heavy in some cases. They sound incredible and they have a very 80s vibe to them. So I do recommend them for that. Next is somewhat no surprise, but might be surprising, I don't know. It's the Danganronpa OST, composed by Meixsell. Yeah, that's the name. The Danganronpa OSTs are nothing more than masterpieces. For anyone who hasn't played the game, to briefly explain, the game revolves around motive histories and an underlying plot of what the fuck is going on, why is there so much to spare? And the OSTs complement this perfectly, from the titled quote-unquote beautiful songs to the climax reasoning. There's just some jaw-dropping melodic arrangements here. There's something here to please everyone. I think if you're a metalhead, you might like Ikaro Shura, and if you like chill or even electronic, you might like Beautiful Dead or Beautiful Lie. The soundtracks are so memorable and recognisable, and yeah, the reason I think these soundtracks even are underrated is because I don't think any of these got the recognition they deserve, especially when there is like some meme potential as well. Next is a band called the Omnific. This one is random and I can't remember exactly how I discovered them, except for YouTube recommendations maybe. The Omnific is a dual bass band. They just really like their bass. I first heard of these guys when they released their songs at Norris, and I was hooked immediately. Melodic bass is just something I hadn't heard until that point. Even like post Scale the Summit, even though Scale the Summit had some great melodic bass as well. But I at least hadn't heard bass as a lead instrument before. And I've heard nothing like this since, and they're worth listening to if you like bass. Also, these songs are somewhat chill as well. It's just non-stop bass soloing, and they are one of the reasons I picked up a 6-string bass too. Next is Area 11. You might recognise this band if you followed the Oxcast at any point in 2010 to 2018 with their famous solo from a track called Euphemia. I was quite surprised with Area 11, to be honest. I didn't know what to expect, but Dan delivered. Melodic guitar arrangements, very sort of down to earth, almost anime sounding tracks at times. Sparkle's amazing vocals. They're definitely worth a listen. My personal favourites other than Euphemia is Victor's and Heaven Piercing Giga Draw. They're seriously two of the most unique songs I've heard, I think. And next is Minus the Bear. This is a fairly underrated rock band. After learning and playing their song in Ross's 2014 called Bad Company, I was kind of hooked. I began to appreciate them more as I learned more about guitar and learned that they had a bunch more amazing tracks. I won't claim to know what every song means though, as again I have more bias towards instruments, but they're certainly worth checking out if you like the way that people use guitars. Next is Crow Score, a Touhou cover band, and I believe even the composer for one of the games, I might have participated in it anyway. Halfway, this Touhou cover band covers Touhou tracks in a rock or metal style, and makes some really good ones at that. There isn't much to say other than if you want some metal or rock Touhou game covers, you could give this artist a try. Next is Xeon. Alright, let's get the Touhou cover bands out of the way. Xeon doesn't follow any specific genre, but their songs sound epic and calming at the same time. There's something here that everyone can enjoy, and like as well. There's some hints of metal, rock and electronic. There's no specific genre that they follow, but it is well covered. Listening back to these covers though, to put into a video that I made at random moments, holy shit, they're almost as good as Demetori at times. I'm not joking, like listen to Ice Fairy or Lotus Forest. They're just some incredible tracks. This is UI70. This is another Touhou cover band I forgot existed. They make metal covers and a lot, but symphonic to an extent. There isn't much to say because I don't know a lot about their style, but the fact I have over 67 of their tracks means that they are delivering. Next is Café De Touhou. You like jazz? Really? Me too. But do you like Touhou too? Because if so, you'll love this. It's not a band per se, at least from what I could tell, but rather a series of jazz arrangements of Touhou tracks. And they do it so well. There's some tense ones, but there's also some easy listening tracks. They're certainly worth checking out. Finally we get onto Demetori for the Touhou cover bands. Demetori is arguably one of the best bands I've ever heard. Not only are they a Touhou cover band, but they are symphonic metal. And on another level with it. This is a must listen for metalheads, just the way every guitar arrangement is built up, layered, composed, and this is paired with some amazing solos and chord progressions. Not to mention fusions of all fucking things. And the original arrangements in between them as well. Like in the actual covers themselves. And all these other instruments in between, like the bass, drums, synth, keyboard, you name it, they're so well blended in and layered, it literally makes masterpieces. Demetori is the inspiration for a lot of music I make. I have to show you a few examples of this because they're just so good. Next is Napoleon. Back to the normal bands, but this band, to make clear, is a band, not a dictator. Napoleon is a progressive melodic hardcore band. Their style is quite unique in that it's just really fast, and not only that, it has vocals. These are some of the most insane guitars I've heard ever. It's been described as math rock, but I think it's more than that. It's like rocket science. Just so many well-crafted melodies and rhythms to make for some of the most interesting chord progressions and a lot really. It's like if everything that actually I don't know any band that sounds like this, they're so good. Think of it like cheerful and much faster and complex, like maybe Periphery meets Pliny. It's so hard to describe, you just have to listen to it to understand. Next is Toto. Now this is one of the reasons I decided to make the video, this band is anyway. After playing some of Toto's songs in Rocksmith, I realised this band is underrated. And even just today, on my 6th or 7th day of writing this, I had a Toto song come up in my playlist and was like, yeah, these guys are fucking amazing. They're so easy to get into their songs as well. And their sort of pop rock style with plenty of melodies with either the lead or rhythm and chord progressions that are so juicy and fulfilling. Toto is just amazing for guitarists and vocalists alike. They're especially good if you like the track Hold the Line, because there are plenty of that going on there too. But wait, there's more. You'll recognise the melody from their song I Won't Hold You Back, which was sampled into an electronic song by Roger Sanchez in his track Another Chance. I strongly recommend Toto if you're a lover of the late 80s or early 90s rock type of music. Right, I know what you're thinking. The Pantera are really popular, they're legendary enough with their iconic bluesy metal riffs. So why are they on this list? What a lot of people might not know is Pantera were originally a hair metal band, also known as glam metal. And believe it or not, their glam metal stuff is not bad at all. It's better compared to some of the other stuff out there, like from other artists. I like it enough to where I can listen to these songs, and I think these are pretty underrated parts of Pantera's history, to be honest. It's certainly worth checking out. Punk Fiction is the next one. I heard this artist through the Real Gyps channel. It's a Simpsons channel, and the first song I heard from Punk Fiction was Crystal Duration. It's really amazing. It's a very catchy song, and it only gets better with each listen. It gives such Sonic CD vibes too, which is amazing. You'll love Funk Fiction if you obviously love funk, but also electronic with hints of lo-fi and maybe vaporwave, I think. You get hints of that as well. And this is quite unlike anything I've heard, not to mention it sounds clean as fuck. So it's worth listening to them. Next one is Architects. Okay, maybe in the territory of at least being recognisable, but I honestly think their earlier stuff with Tom Surley was amazing. Rest in peace. And it's actually severely underrated what Tom used to write there. There's so much creativity in it. Tom always brought some of the most interesting riffs to the band all the way back then, with the strange ass tunings and the heavy ass riffs and melodies. This seems to be something that hasn't been matched yet, at least accurately. And I think this is why it's underrated, this era of Architects. These guys should be bigger than some other bands out there, or at least more recognised, and that's why they're here. Next one is Moonic Productions, mentioned in my things of 2023, but has to be said again. This guy makes incredible music in the style of different bands, essentially covering a different song with a different band style each time, and does it with near perfect accuracy. It's a talent that's hard to find, and it just blows my mind every time I listen to it. Next is Blankfield. So Blankfield is a band I came across by complete chance from a video, unfortunately from a channel called Game Ranks, and this was because of a game called Danganronpa Unlimited 3, in which they said there was a good soundtrack. And it turns out the game's soundtrack is fucking incredible. It's no Touhou, but it's really good still. Blankfield composed the soundtrack to that, and I did a bit of digging. They also make covers for other games. They make Touhou covers, Undertale, Deltarune I think is one. Their cover of Asgore is insane, and the Deltarune covers are obviously great too. Yeah, I was wondering why I said that. Anyway, they're metal covers and they're just so good. They're definitely worth a listen. Next is Galneryus. Maybe they have a large following already, but for what they do it considerably well. I won't pretend to know the lyrics to most of the songs, because they are Japanese, so I can't really understand what the songs are about, but holy fuck, they make some epic music. With Siu being one of the best guitarists simply for composition's sake. He shreds and his solos are just incredible. Listen to Brutal Spiral Emotions Part 3 for what is one of the best solos of all time. Just so good. There's catchy melodies and they're also really fun to play if you're at least an advanced guitarist. I've learnt so many things from Galneryus, it's insane. Next is Falcom Sound Team. Falcom Sound Team are one of the best teams for game OSTs and covers of their own OSTs, or remixes even. I'm just so impressed with their tracks, especially from the East and No Kizeki series I think it is, which I think is Trials of Steel if I'm not mistaken. I forgot the English name, but there are tracks like Dreaming, First Step Towards Wars, Mother of Voltago, and more recently And the Adventure Begins Part 2, which feels like a classic. Just perfect tracks that make any composer orgasm. And every time one of those songs comes on, I'm just taken away to another world, which is something that's all to do with music and my spirits, and I haven't experienced that since Demetori and Xeon. Next is Sylosis. Might be a surprise to people, even though the newest stuff is actually good. Listen to Conclusion of an Age and the much lesser known The Supreme Oppressor. Sylosis is unique in that Josh uses E standard tuning and drop D for Supreme Oppressor for a lot of his first albums, and this is not on purpose apparently. I actually just saw his Q&A today as I was recording this. Apparently that wasn't on purpose, and they don't really have any plans on going back to it I think, but oh well, it's still impressive. Anyway, and even the albums after these were pretty good. Dawn Heart is amazing. Edge of the Earth obviously is the best one. But I genuinely think this band doesn't have enough follows, because Josh is actually genius with the riffs and all the mixing done, especially on Edge of the Earth. It just makes it so good to the point where it is my favourite album of all time. There's not a song I don't like on this album. A fun story, I couldn't wait until they made a t-shirt with this album cover on. When they did, I went to buy it immediately, but it sold out immediately. So a few months later I finally got one, and it's beautiful. I'm so happy to be wearing a shirt with my favourite album on it. Next is Ujico. No, not Snail's House. Snail's House is amazing, don't get me wrong, but I really like Ujico's work prior to Snail's House. His style is really interesting. It's a style I've been searching for a while, like upbeat electronic music, especially with a piano melody, and he sort of delivered that. I was surprised by his earlier stuff. To think that Snail's House came from this is surprising. Next is Hail the Sun, another band that really inspired me to make this list. Hail the Sun is a post-hardcore band with some of the most incredible chord progressions, shapes and compositions, and the incredible vocals of Jonathan Malero to guitars with Schengen and Eric Garcia, and on bass there's John Stirat, probably said that wrong, and finally on drums Donovan Malero or Alan Casillas. Yes, Donovan can play drums and vocals at the same time. It's fucking insane. Just watch some of the lives he's done with this. And I think if you're a guitarist as well, Hail the Sun is great. and it's even better if you like heavy themes of songs. This band is definitely for you if you like those heavy themes. The songs about terrorism, murder, tragedy, drugs, drinking, etc. This is one of the darkest bands I think I've heard, and it's not even like edgy. It's just dark. Let's just say that. And every time I listen to their songs, I'm blown away. Of all the bands on here, I think this is the one deserving of the biggest following. It shocks me that they don't already have a massive one. Anyway, that's all from my list. I've no doubt this missed some, and you'll need to listen to more. This is just a few that I know because you guys voted for this video idea. I didn't expect people to actually look at the community tab and vote on this, so it's surprising. But I figured it makes sense to make it now that there's demand for it. I'll admit it's not the most explanatory and informative video. I just really wanted to highlight the bands that I think deserve more attention, and also the obviously like better parts of bands. So yeah. Anyway, I'll see you in another video.